Everyone loves compound interest. You hear things like, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. It's how wealth is built. Just start early and let compounding do the work. But here's the part that nobody says out loud. Compound interest is amazing unless you're the one who's paying it. And if you've ever felt like your debt grows faster than your income, like your balance barely moves, even though you're making payments, or like something about the math just doesn't feel fair, you're not imagining things. This video is part 2 of a series breaking down interest, and this is where things start to feel uncomfortable. What's up, everyone? I'm Jason. I break down money, debt, and wealth in a way that actually connects the dots, because most people aren't bad with money. They were just never taught how the system actually works. When people talk about compound interest, it's usually framed like magic. You invest a little, you wait, boom, you're wealthy. But no one tells you that the same math is used on the other side of the table. The first time I really sat down and looked at how compound interest works on debt, not investments, I had that moment where you just lean back and go, so that's why this feels uncomfortable, and that's why this feels impossible. And if you've ever carried a credit card balance or watched a student loan barely shrink, or wondered how you paid thousands and still almost the same amount, well, this is why. Compound interest means interest is charged on the original principal plus previously accrued interest. So now your interest is earning interest. And that's the difference, the key difference from simple interest, which we talked about in the last video. With compound interest, time doesn't just pass, time multiplies that cost. And the more frequently it compounds, daily, monthly, the faster that cost accelerates. Now, if you've ever had debt and thought, why is this taking so long? Hit like and subscribe because this series is for you. Compound interest doesn't grow in a straight line. It grows exponentially. Early on, it looks harmless, manageable, almost boring, but later, it ramps up fast. That's why balances seem to suddenly explode, and they didn't suddenly grow. They finally reached the steep part of the curve.
Okay, but compound interest is good though, right? That's how you build wealth. Just invest and chill.
Yes, compound interest is fantastic when you're earning it, but when you're paying it, it's the opposite. Same math, different side of the equation. And this is where a lot of people feel that something's off because no one ever explained that compound interest isn't good or bad. It's directional. And when was the last time someone actually explained that to you? Compound interest punishes time. The longer a balance exists, the more powerful compounding becomes against you. And that's why minimum payments feel like quicksand. You're moving, but not moving forward.
It's fine. I'm making the minimum payment. At least I'm responsible.
That minimum payment is designed to keep the account alive, not eliminate it. It covers interest first, then a tiny slice of the principal. That's not a conspiracy, it's just math. And you know what? Most advisors don't bring this up either. Not because they're trying to hide it or anything, but because they just were never trained to focus on that. They were trained to focus on assets, not liabilities. Compound interest on debt is a wealth transfer mechanism, from borrower to lender, from consumer to institution, from time poor to capital rich. Again, that doesn't make it evil, but it does mean that you need to understand it before agreeing to it.
Well, that's just how the system works. What are you gonna do, not use debt?
This is where nuance matters, right? The goal isn't to avoid debt, the goal is to avoid uncontrolled compounding. Wealthy individuals don't fear debt, they fear being on the wrong side of the math. And if you've ever felt like something's missing from the advice that you've received, or like no one's ever explained, why certain debts feel heavier than others, you're right to feel that way. So let's recap. Compound interest charges interest on interest, it grows exponentially, it punishes time when you're paying it, and it rewards time when you're earning it. Same formula, very different outcome. And in the next video, we're going to be talking about amortized interest, which explains why you can make payments for years and still feel stuck. Once you see that structure, you'll never look at loans the same way again. Now, if this helped, like the video, subscribe, and check the links below for financial education that actually fills in the gaps most people never address. Oh, and drop a comment. What's the first debt you wish someone had explained compound interest to you before you signed for it? Oh, and I'm working on a song that breaks this exact concept down, how the same math that builds wealth can quietly destroy it. Education, but with rhythm. Like I mentioned before, each week that a video in this series is released, you'll be able to hear another part of the song. So here's the first part and basically the second parts.
Break down debt, make the math feel simple. Only pay interest on the principal. No snowball effect when the clock is ticking. Numbers stay flat, no additionals. Principal times rate times time. That's the formula they skip in school. Easy to learn, easy to track. Too much clarity, make lenders uncomfortable. Balance don't grow cause days went by. Time don't tax you automatically. If you stop borrowing, the math stop moving. That's structure built responsibly. You can plan ahead, you can see the cost. Every dollar got accountability. When the debt feel light, it's usually cause the structure ain't fighting reality. People say that is debt, wave it off. Like the math don't matter eventually. Just make the payment, don't ask too much. It's how confusion becomes identity. Funny how simple interest stay rare, but compound everywhere you happen to be. Transparency don't sell excitement, and excitement move profitability. Once you see clear, you regain control. No guessing games in your strategy. You start asking questions, they dodge real quick. The structure reveal intent naturally. Simple interest, tell the truth up front. No smoke, no mirrors attached to it. That's why they don't lead with this conversation. Dollars cost less when you actually have it.
Math. If you don't check the numbers, they come right back every time. Yeah, they come right back. Control the math. Yeah, I learned it the hard way. Had to slow it all down just to run it back. Control the math. Same rules apply even when you switch the lane and change your path. Everything changed when you finally learn to control the math. Control the math.
Interest on interest, different directions. Same math flipped in the wrong perspective. Works real nice when you earn and returns from hostile as soon as you indebted. Starts off quite barely noticeable. Looks real calm in the early section. Then the curve get aggressive with time. Exponential, not progressive. Balance grown without permission. Every cycle add a momentum. Paying interest on yesterday's interest. That's the cost most people don't mention. Minimum payments create the illusion that you're moving but barely affected. Feels like effort with no traction. That's compounding, applying pressure. Early stage feel real forgiving. Later on, that slow go vertical. Nobody tells you the second half. They just sell you the first visual. Same formula built in portfolio. Same formula drain in residuals. It ain't good or bad, it's directional. Depends which side of it you're sitting on. People say just wait, let time do the work. Not explaining who time works for. When you owe every month a multiplier. When you earn that same force restore. That's why debt feel heavier with age. While assets start feeling immortal. Once you see compounding clearly, you stop guessing, start getting intentional.
Control the math. If you don't check the numbers, they come right back every time. Yeah, they come right back. Control the math. Yeah, I learned it the hard way. Had to slow it all down just to run it back. Control the math. Same rules apply even when you switch the lane and change your path. Everything changed when you finally learn to control the math. Control the math.